The king's greatest mistake. A crown can command armies, but one careless decision can destroy a kingdom. The Kingdom of Arondale was the envy of the world. Its rivers were full of fish, its fields yielded abundant harvests, and its markets bustled with merchants from distant lands. Travelers called it the Golden Kingdom, where justice prevailed and prosperity flourished. At the heart of it all stood King Aldrich, a ruler admired for his wisdom, courage, and fairness. For nearly 40 years he had governed with a steady hand. The people adored him, and neighboring kings sought his counsel. But even the wisest rulers have blind spots. And one mistake can outweigh a lifetime of good deeds. King Aldrich had 2 sons. Prince Edward, the eldest, was handsome, charming, and eloquent. He dressed in fine silk, spoke confidently before crowds, and knew exactly how to win applause. But behind the polished smile lay ambition, arrogance, and a hunger for power. The younger son, Prince Gabriel, was quiet and thoughtful. He spent his days among farmers, craftsmen, and soldiers rather than in the royal court. He listened more than he spoke and believed a king should first be a servant to his people. Most citizens admired Gabriel. The nobles admired Edward. King Aldrich loved both equally. Yet as age weakened him, one question consumed his thoughts. Who should wear the crown after me? A fatal choice. The royal council gathered in the Great Hall. Many advisors quietly favored Gabriel, believing he possessed the wisdom and humility needed to lead. But the nobles argued that Edward looked every bit a king. He inspires confidence, one lord declared. The people follow strength, said another. King Aldrich hesitated. He feared that choosing Gabriel might divide the nobility. So he made the safest political decision. He named Edward as heir. Gabriel bowed respectfully. "If this is Father's will," he said, "I shall serve my brother faithfully." Edward smiled, but inside he celebrated. He had won. The kingdom begins to change. Within months of becoming king, Edward transformed the palace. He commissioned extravagant monuments in his own honor. He doubled taxes to finance lavish celebrations. He surrounded himself with flatterers who praised every decision he made. Anyone who questioned him was dismissed. "The people exist to serve the crown," Edward often declared. Slowly, prosperity faded. Farmers abandoned their land because taxes left them with nothing. Merchants sought fairer kingdoms. The royal treasury emptied faster than it filled. Meanwhile, Gabriel quietly traveled across the kingdom, helping villages repair bridges, organizing food supplies, and comforting families affected by famine. He wore no crown. Yet the people began calling him the true prince. The Great Famine. Then disaster struck. A year of drought left the rivers dry and the harvests ruined. Children went hungry. Entire villages pleaded for help. The royal granaries were still full, but Edward refused to open them. "If we feed everyone now," he said, "what will remain for the palace?" His ministers remained silent. Only Gabriel stepped forward. "Brother," he pleaded, "grain stored while children starve is not wealth. It is shame." Edward slammed his fist upon the throne. "You forget who wears the crown." Gabriel lowered his head. "No, Your Majesty. I remember exactly who does." The king's greatest mistake. That night, an elderly servant visited the retired King Aldrich. "My king," she whispered, "you must see what has become of your kingdom." Disguised as an ordinary traveler, Aldrich rode through towns he once knew. He saw empty marketplaces, abandoned farms, hungry children, mothers sharing their last crust of bread. An old woman recognized him. She did not bow. Instead, tears filled her eyes. "You gave us 40 years of peace," she said softly. "Why did you leave us with this?" Those words pierced deeper than any sword. For the first time, Aldrich understood that his greatest mistake had not been a poor harvest, a lost battle, or an unfair law. It had been choosing appearance over character, popularity over integrity, charm over wisdom. Redemption. The next morning, King Aldrich summoned the royal council one final time. With the authority still granted to him by the ancient laws of Arondale, he revoked Edward's crown. Edward erupted in anger. "You cannot do this." Aldrich met his son's eyes. "I should have done it years ago." He turned to Gabriel. "My son, I judged you by how quietly you served. I should have judged you by how faithfully you loved your people." Gabriel knelt before his father. I never wanted the throne. I know, Aldrich replied. That is why you deserve it. A different kind of king. King Gabriel's first decree was simple. Open every royal granary. No child shall go hungry while the kingdom has bread. His second decree reduced taxes for struggling families. His third required every royal official, including himself, to spend 1 week each year living among ordinary citizens. Years passed. The kingdom flourished once again. Travelers returned. Trade revived. Fields turned green. Children laughed in village squares. People no longer remembered Arondale as the kingdom that nearly fell. They remembered it as the kingdom that learned its greatest lesson. Fought the final lesson. When King Aldrich lay on his deathbed, Gabriel sat beside him. I failed you, Aldrich whispered. Gabriel gently took his father's hand. No, father. You taught me something every king must remember. What is that? Gabriel smiled sadly. That the greatest leaders are not those who seek power, but those who are willing to carry its burden for the sake of others. King Aldrich closed his eyes with peace in his heart. His final mistake had become his greatest lesson. And for centuries afterward, every new ruler of Arondale was required to read these words before placing the crown upon their head. Choose character over charisma, wisdom over pride, and service over power. A crown is never earned by being admired, it is earned by being worthy.